In this lecture of business environment and ethical practices, we'll be talking about environmental scanning and monitoring. As the entire subject revolves around environment, first of all, we should talk about why scanning the environment is important. No business operates in vacuum, and the kind of system or the environment any business operates in, it keeps on changing. And this change is inevitable. It is bound to happen for sure. And something or like some strategy, some tactic that can work today might not work tomorrow. And in any case, even if it works, the conditions, things might get different. So in any way, since the environment is quite complex, dynamic, it is ever changing, and it is always full of threats. So it becomes very essential to scan the environment properly and scan it continuously. So it is like an ongoing process. It is not like the business or the entity has done the scanning one time and then it forgets it. It is bound to be done again and again. First of all, let's talk about what exactly environmental scanning is. So we can define it as key. It refers to possession and utilization of information about occasions, patterns, trends, and relationship within an organization's internal and external environment. It helps us or the managers to decide the future path of the organization. Scanning must identify the threats and opportunities existing in the environment. During strategy formulation, an organization must take advantage of the opportunities and minimize the threats. And a threat for any organization may be an opportunity for the another one. Environmental scanning basically looks into whatever information we have got regarding the environment. We must be able to analyze it in such a way that it becomes useful and relevant for our business, for our organization. And it has been truly said that a threat for one organization may be an opportunity for the another. Like recently, this COVID thing is happening, and certain industries are hit hard, have been hit hard, tourism, like automobiles, like aviation. But certain industries have benefited out of it, like healthcare. Another one could be live streaming services, telecommunication, internet. Lot, lot many things happening. Have lot many product categories have witnessed their sales going up like anything. So the basic idea is to keep a check on the nerves of the entire environment, although it is quite unachievable. But even then, every company must aspire, every company must do anything and everything to keep a check on what is happening around. Because any event can be an opportunity, any event or movement can be a threat also. So we have to see what exactly is happening around us so that we can strategize our work, our moves accordingly. And this environmental scanning things, it helps managers to plan for future, not only for the current scenario, but for future as well. And it helps the manager at the lower level, at the middle level, and at the top level. Everywhere it is relevant. Although, since the main responsibility of developing, formulating strategies lies at the top management level only. So it is quite relevant for them, but it is not confined to them only. Even middle level managers and low level managers tend to utilize environmental scanning. Internal analysis, like when we talk about scanning, so we are talking about internal and external scanning both. So the first idea is basically to, look into the organization only. So internal analysis of the environment is the first step of environment scanning. Organizations should first observe the internal organizational environment. It is also called resource-based view. Resource-based view, RBV, we call it. Herein, what it includes is employee interaction with other employees, performance, employee interaction with manager interaction with the other managers, and so on and so forth. Basically, it is all about checking vertically and horizontally the entire organization. And this kind of analysis basically helps in identifying strengths and weakness of any organization. So it gives a chance to the manager or to the organization to improve upon its operations, maybe its structure as well. And when major strategic changes are to be done, this kind of scanning becomes a must. So internal analysis. Then when you talk about external analysis, it has to be done at three levels. First is the organization must check the immediate environment or the industry environment, the market which it operates in. The next level is national environment, wherein we are not confined to our proper industry only, rather we look at other things as well. For example, automobile industry is not uh, confined to automobile industry only. Oil industry impacts the automobiles. Plastics can also impact the automobile industry because a large number of components are made of plastic. So the basic idea is you go beyond your specific industry and then you look around what all now is happening in the related industries as well and in the entire economy. And the last and the final most level is to look at the broader socio-economic environment or macro environment, and it also includes the international events as well. Like I said, automobiles get affected by oil, and the entire global trade of oil gets affected by what is happening in Middle East. So we have to keep a check on with that also. And it might not be very relevant for a small business, but when the business size is good, the company is a big one, or if it is a multinational, these factors are more relevant and more important. So we need to check the external environment at all three levels. Examining the industry environments basically needs an appraisal of the competitive structure of the organization industry, including the competitive position of a particular organization and its main rivals. Because you can't ignore competition, and it should not be ignored. Because whatever a company does, quite a lot depends on what competitors are doing. Like if you go to like 150 years ago or 100 years ago, there were like specific companies, very few companies in certain industries, and they were moving freely. They were doing whatever they wanted to because somehow they had monopolies. But the condition is not the same now. Even the areas, the industries which were confined to or which were restricted to public investment only, for the government only, now they are opening up for the private investors. So the things are quite dynamic, cutthroat competition we get to see everywhere. So we need to check what exactly is happening in the industry. What are the trends? What are the ratios? Different ratios, like what all market share everybody's having, and a lot of many things like that. In it, just we can say the entire industry needs to be checked upon. Then it also an assessment of the nature, stage, dynamics, and history of the industry is essential. And we need to keep a track on to what happened when and what might possibly happen in the future as well. So we need to have a look on that. Like if we talk about automobiles today, maybe like diesel and petroleum vehicles are dominating right now, like in today's time, but it is bound to deteriorate in the years to come. And most probably by 2030, most of the fuel, most of the diesel and petrol run vehicle might not run on the road, or even if they are running, they may be hitting the deadline very soon. And electric vehicles might take place, and which is possibly going to take place very soon. So we need to keep a check on what the industry is doing, where things are heading, and all. Then analyzing the national environment needs an appraisal of whether the national framework helps in achieving comparative advantage in the globalized environment or not. So looking at the entire environment within the country can also give you a hint like where exactly you are, where you want to go, and will you be able to go there or not? And if you are willing and the conditions are good, how to reach there? So it will give an insight to the manager to formulate strategies accordingly. Last but not least, analysis of macro environment includes exploring macroeconomic concepts like social, government, legal, like the entire pesky thing, and international factors also that may influence the environment. The analysis of organizations' external environment reveals opportunities and threats for an organization. On the other hand, internal environment helps to chalk out the strengths and weaknesses. Process goes like this. First of all, identifying the relevant environmental forces. As I said earlier, that small business and large scale business may have different orientation and they might get affected with different factors. For a small business, variation in fuel prices might not be a big issue, but for a company which is transporting millions of tons of material from here to there, it becomes a big problem for them, even if the entire process is outsourced, because ultimately they'll have to spend big money for that. So first of all, identify the relevant environmental forces, then data and info collection. And it is quite important that the data and information is basically being taken from relevant sources. Then once you gather the entire data and information regarding the relevant forces, we need to analyze it. Once the analysis part is done, decision has to be taken, what to do, what not to do, and then implementation and control. Importance. Undoubtedly, environmental scanning helps in finding out the threats. It can prepare a company, an organization to for the upcoming threats, and it can actually play a vital role in dealing with that threat. So you can't foresee the future well in advance, but it can give you a basic idea of what exactly what may possibly go wrong in the future, and the company can prepare itself accordingly. Then it helps in understanding the customer needs. It helps in understanding what the customers are looking for, what they might look for in future, and what all points the organization needs to renovate its process or to come up with some new solutions so that they can attract the customers towards the company. It helps in capitalizing the opportunities. As I said earlier also, once you are done with the analysis part, scanning part, you might, as a company, you might see what all opportunities lies there out in the market, and if you are able to capture them and put yourself as an organization into right shoes, you can actually tap that opportunity. It is a big source of qualitative information. It basically provides a base of objective and qualitative information about the environment that can be utilized for efficient and effective strategic management. And last but not the least, it is a source of intellectual stimulation. The entire process is basically stimulation only, wherein the managers can check how good they are with the planning part, organizing part, direction and control, and they also get to see what exactly they are lacking at, and accordingly they can prepare themselves, they can change the way they are handling things, and it can happen at the top and lower level both, and middle level of course. So it is basically a brainstorming for the entire management and the low level management, and it can take the organization to an entirely new direction, which can eventually lead to the achievement of organizational objectives. Thank you.